Hey, we are back at it with part 2 of SojuTalk episode 87, where we get our weekly dose of hot takes, discuss recent K-pop news and events, and give you the state of the nation. All right, hot takes with Harold. Let's go get cousin Harold so he could give his weekly hot take.
Oh boy.
Oh,
good old Harold here.
Harold stuff.
A little behind the scenes stuff nobody has to see. That's okay.
Okay, I found my outfit, guys. Doug was hiding it from me.
Dude,
what an
a
idiot.
little weird today.
You know, I just forgot what the voice sounds like. I'm him. The weekly
you're
hot
back, you're
take
back.
is okay. I'm back. Despite the vote manipulation controversy, the Produce 101 series was a big benefit to the industry. Boom. Bye, guys. Hopefully I'll remember
See
the
you, man.
voice. Bye.
You gotta leave quick. Maybe he, he's a little sick. Has a little bit of a sore
sick.
throat.
I mean,
Yeah.
my whole house has allergies this week, so that's it.
That's it.
That's what it is. Yeah.
So the weekly hot take is, despite the vote manipulation controversy, the Produce 101 series was a big benefit to the industry, and this one was suggested by our mod, Malfiar, so shout out to Mal.
Yes, thank you.
Something off.
Okay, this is a take,
Okay.
right? This is a
Yes.
take.
This
Now,
is a controversial one.
Harold told me he chose this one this week because we are pretty far removed from the controversy now. It's been a couple months,
Yeah.
maybe 3-4 months since.
It's been a while.
I know that the lawsuits are still ongoing against the PDs and the CPs, but at the same time, we're pretty far removed. We're almost half a year from when it happened. This is a tough take. Now, I am an Eyes One fan, right? Big Eyes One fan, big Wiz One over here. So you would think that I'm inclined to say, yeah, big benefit to the industry because we got Eyes One, right? I am super conflicted about this one. Now, let me explain why.
Okay.
The overall thing we're technically going to be arguing is, do the ends justify the means, right? We're more or less saying, despite what happened, the controversy, the manipulation, how some kids made it that probably shouldn't, how some kids didn't make it that probably deserved to, was it still a big benefit to the industry? My initial impression is that it could fall either way depending on how you look at it. I'm not going to be able to give you a great answer. Now, my initial impression is, was it a benefit to the industry? Yes, right? Because we got a whole bunch of groups. We got a whole bunch of kids who got popular that probably wouldn't have without the show, right? At the same time, the other side, I feel that the show also prevented kids who were not on the show from becoming popular. I feel like it became to the point where if you were not a part of the Produce 101 series or connected to it, you were at a distinct disadvantage if you were not from a big company. So that's my initial impression. What about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. There's it's never a good thing to say something is a double-sided sword, because everything is a double-sided sword, really. But
Yeah.
it's kind of a double-sided sword. It is. There's a lot of benefits that came with it, and there's a lot of not good things that came with it. But I mean, kind of adding on to what you said, there have been a lot of things that came out of it that was really beneficial. Sure, it didn't really do the best job going through it, but it did get a lot of eyes on the product and the unfinished product. It was a great marketing deal. There's a huge following. For example, in Japan, they imported some idols from Japan.
Yeah.
Somehow that happened. That's stuff like that. It's kind of crazy. That's really the pros that I see, besides the ones you mentioned. Really. On the other hand, yeah, they kind of did create something of a monopoly, if you will, because outside the big three, it was okay. Which of you were in Produce and what groups are they in now? That kind of deal. It's a double-sided sword, guys. That's what it is.
What about you, Anita? What's your initial impression?
I think my initial feeling towards this take is that I don't know if I would go as far as calling it a benefit to the industry. And I guess because I'm viewing the take or the idea of Produce 101 as it is, the concept, not necessarily the groups that came out, because I feel like once Produce 101 started, there was a huge boom in those survival shows for both girl groups and guy groups, and produce series was still the most popular. To me, I feel like the idea of it, like the concept was very interesting. It definitely, like you mentioned before, it gives you a insider's look as to like what it takes to make a group, right? And you get a vote. You get to be a part of this group, but
supposedly,
in the end, it just felt very, very not that. In once the curtain was pulled back, we got to see like, hey, this was going on, and it really wasn't what we thought it was. And I don't know, it gave me a bad feeling once the whole controversies came out, because it kind of, I don't know, it made me not really trust that kind of system anymore, especially if things are kind of settled behind the scenes and like the audience is none the wiser until allegations come out like months after. But I don't know, I feel like the concept is still good, but the way it was executed now. It's a little tainted, and I don't know, I feel like it's hard to not associate like the produce concept with everything that happened afterwards, or like the bad stuff that occurred behind the scenes. But I don't know, I guess my final say would be like, I wouldn't call it necessarily a benefit, but it was definitely something that marked
a game
the
changer.
Industry. Yes.
All right, let's look more into it. If we think about the benefit, keep on. What?
No, you can go first. I can wait.
Okay. If we think about the shows, right?
Yeah.
The shows ended up with these groups, right? IOI,
Right.
101,
101,
X1,
Eyes
Eyes1,
One.
those groups, right?
Jury.
Okay. All of those groups were the most successful things to come out of that show, outside of maybe Chungha's solo success and Kang Daniel's solo success, right? Now,
So far.
initially, my feelings about the show was it was great because those groups had great peaks, right?
Right.
But when we think about the overarching, after like looking back now that we've had a lot of time to see what has happened to these groups, right?
Right.
It's to the point now where we think about the IOI groups. They had IOI. IOI did great. The start was kind of rocky. Then they had very, very, very blew up. Everyone was like, IOI, good group. They went their separate ways, right? Chungha did fantastic. A lot of the kids went back into their own groups or started new groups, that kind of thing. People were looking at those groups initially, right? Because they were like, that's a former IOI member. Let me check this group out because I like this IOI member. But within these groups, it created such a disparity in popularity. Because a lot of these groups were then marked by, this is the produced kid.
Yeah.
This is why I'm here to watch these groups. And what we've seen time and time again is that when groups have really disproportionate popularity, eventually for some reason it fizzles out. Like those eyes that were looking because of that one kid, at a certain point, you're like, I'm literally only watching for this one kid now. When you would hope that the thing would be, they're drawing a lot of views now that will then make the group more popular as a whole. For a lot of the resulting groups, it just hasn't panned out like that.
It didn't really help that most of the earlier groups kind of relied on those people as,
Really
like,
hard. Yeah.
Right. Like I'm going back to like Wiki Miki and like Kogodon, right? Like
Daya.
Yeah.
Daya. Yeah, man. Suddenly Taeyeon wasn't the center of everything. And like I do think the later groups realized, okay, that's not a good strategy.
Yeah.
And looking at groups from like for Produce 48 or like Produce X 101, they don't focus their entire time looking at the Produce members, but like it did create a lot of disparity, and it still does, even if the companies don't do that. Like I like Rocket Punch. I started liking Rocket Punch because of Juri. I recognize that she gets a lot more likes compared to some other members in Instagram or Twitter or whatnot. It's not really. This kind of goes back to what we were saying a couple weeks back about what's the group? Priston. About like when there's a certain member that's like so big, it's it kind of creates a weird vibe in the fandom, man. It does. It's now people recognize it as a problem and they try really hard not to make it a toxic thing. But like at some points it did, especially like Priston, it did. That's the fact. They have like, and sure, Pledis didn't really manage the group well. That's probably part of the reason why Priston fandom became a little disjointed near the end. But man, that's just a mixed situation, and kind of. I'm sorry, I'm gonna pivot real hard for a quick second, because you mentioned earlier that Produce was a game changer.
Yeah.
Is it though?
I'm not saying in a good way or a bad way.
No,
I'm
just
saying
in general. In general,
I think it changed the way. Well, I think it changed the landscape for rookie groups for a long time. That's what I mean by that. Where the point I made earlier was that if you did not have a produced kid, whether the kid won or didn't win, right? If there was like, if you had a kid on the show who made like top 35, right?
Right.
It's so much of a big advantage over a group who has no one who was on produce.
Right. But my point is a little different, because while Produce was around, while Produce is active, and in the years between each seasons of Produce, yes, they had a big influence on the industry. Now that Produce is gone, that influence is suddenly gone as well. Is it a game changer though? Has it had lasting effect on the industry, and is it going to have a lasting effect on the industry afterwards?
Okay, I see what you're saying. I kind of agree with the point you're making there. It was a game changer when it was around.
That's not a game changer. That's just a tree, like just a random cherry tree in an apple tree forest.
Yeah,
okay.
I've been playing Animal Crossing. I'm sorry.
I see what you're saying, because it changed the landscape so much that now it's reverting back to how it used to be, right? Because we don't got these competition shows, right?
Right.
Just
Immediately we're back to what we were. That's not a game changer. That's just a temporary change.
I feel like it has a lot to do though, like with the way things ended though, like the way it was kind of mismanaged, like the concept. Because I feel like I can't help but think if none of that stuff had happened behind the scenes, if it had been clean and clear, and like we would still have
We'd be still doing
produce
it.
going on, yes. But because
If it was clean and clear, we wouldn't be discussing whether if it was a big benefit to the industry or not.
I think we would.
I think we might.
Okay, yeah.
If everything went positive, we would still be saying we're in the produce era. That's what it would be. Where you have to have kids from produce on your groups still.
Okay, my point is things would have been different if they had done everything clean. They didn't.
Yeah,
that's just how it played out. You know.
Yeah, but my argument to what you're saying is that it was a game changer until we had the scandal.
Yeah,
and it would have been without
not.
it. That's the point we're making.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm just looking at how it played out, and like looking at that only, it's not a game changer. That's what I think. But at the same time, if, for example, if the scandal never leaked, if they had gotten away with it, heck yeah, they would have been the biggest game changer in K-pop in the last decade or so, besides single groups like BTS.
If we also talk about it, okay, so let's talk about it as it is, right? Because the take is literally saying despite the vote manipulation controversy. So it is taken into account that it has happened, right?
Yes. Right.
It is also like tainted some groups, right? Like in some people's eyes, IZ*ONE is now untouchable. Whether you like, as a WIZ*ONE fan, I don't like that's the case, but some people refuse to support any resulting thing from Produce, right? Because they think it's tainted.
X1.
Same thing with the X1 guys.
Yeah.
It's just like, in that sense, I don't think it's a big benefit, clearly, right? Because it's delegitimized some people's career, even though it's not their fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, not even looking at X1 and IZ*ONE too, but like even like the older groups, like you mentioned, like some of, like Wekimiki, if they had debuted without IZ*ONE, or like
without IOI. You said
sorry.
IZ*ONE.
Yes, I'm sorry. If Wekimiki or like Gugudan had debuted without any of IOI behind their backs, things might have been different. Maybe for the good, maybe for the bad. I have no clue.
I would honestly think for the worse. To like, that's the point, because it's like, at the end of the day, even though Gugudan has not had the greatest time, right? Wakey Makey
Right.
is still on the come up even now, right?
Right.
Without having any produce exposure, I don't even see them having the level of success that they reached, like, now.
Really?
For also, like, someone like Changmo, without produce,
Oh yeah.
I find it hard to believe she would be a solo artist that's topping the charts.
Okay, Chungha, I agree. I definitely agree with that part.
Someone like Newest, without the reintroduction of them through Brodu season 2,
Okay, that's
Yeah.
they probably would have been done, right?
yeah.
Right.
That's the reason why I think it was very beneficial, I think, to specific people. Now that we've had time
Yeah.
to look at it, Kang Daniel, right, from a tiny company, comes on here, wins. Now is a bona fide solo artist, right?
Own company.
That's true.
It's. I used to think, back when everything was clean, right, that the produced series was great because it allowed these kids to get so much exposure that they would have never got. Because the trainee game before this, no one knew who trainees were. It was secret unless you were really deep into fandoms for specific companies. You didn't know who the trainees were. You were on weird forums looking up, these trainee pictures, right? That was how it used to be in the game. Now we generally know a lot of trainees, right?
It's true.
Right.
That's one of the things that I think it's changed, because now the emphasis on knowing trainees and training exposure is a thing now. That's why we have like SM rookies is now like a big deal. Now, I don't
Yeah.
know if that's related to the produced series at all.
It's not.
But at the same time, it's just another thing how now training exposure is something that groups like they take into account.
Companies,
Now
yeah.
everyone has YouTube channels for their trainees.
That's true.
Now, that's where I think the benefit is, right? Because there's visibility, it has helped a lot of people. But I really think that the benefit of the produced series has boiled down to helping just a handful of people and not everyone.
If I can add in a little bit, because that kind of reminds me of something I want to say, right? Like, because I still have very vivid memories of the first episode of Produce 48, right?
Yeah.
Where the Japanese kids were getting absolutely pooped on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure the amount of skill difference was particularly strong that season, but like I recognized that like certain members were like, they were saying that they are like evolving through Produce, and I'm gonna assume that also applies to the rest of the season. I'm sure there are kids who came on, with like little skill or talent, and after they left the season, they had a lot more experience.
Oh yeah. Yes.
It's for them. It's like a workshop. It's like a couple very focused days of training, and they leave with a lot more like experience, or like
I agree.
they've been on stage at least once or twice, right? Like,
yeah.
I doubt all 100 kids think they're going to make the final group when they show up.
Of course.
come on,
yeah.
of course, yeah. That being said, has it been a big benefit to the industry? I'm gonna pull Anita and look at the wording. Has it been a big benefit to the industry? No, it has some benefit. Some benefit. I'll give you that. It has some benefit.
I completely agree. It's had benefit for, I think, very specific people.
Yeah.
I think it's allowed us to learn more about K-pop. It's definitely, I think, broadened the genre, because now a lot of companies says that's that kid from Produce. It gives a lot of groups instant recognizability, even if kids didn't win, right? You're like, that's that kid from that show, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, though, for those kids, it's like that's just an entry point, but it doesn't even make you a fan, right? So it's a negligible thing. It's just like, I know who that kid is. I don't know if that's like that's not a lot of like gain, right?
I mean, still, there's just a little bit of gain there, right? Like, I still remember like 12 different AKB member names that I didn't know previous to
true.
48.
Yeah, but I think as the industry as a whole, not that much.
Oh yeah,
right?
industry as a whole, nah.
No, I think it has changed the lives of certain people, but at the end of the day, the industry keeps moving regardless of whether Produce makes shows or not.
I would be willing to bet that Produce 101 will not come back, but my bet is that it will be coming back in a different format, with a different title,
Oh no.
possibly in a different, possibly on a different channel. Maybe like KBS or like, I don't know, whatever, like TVN.
There's big money to be made.
There's big money to be made. it's been imported. It's been exported to Japan.
Yeah.
It's been exported to China.
Mhm.
Like, guys, like it's a big concept. It's too big to fail. I'm sure it'll happen again.
I mean,
Just like in
China,
different-
they're about to have 3 shows running at the same time.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Youth
They're
with
blowing
You,
up.
Youth with You Chuang, also known as Idol Producer, which is it's like a remnant of the Produce series itself. It's the 3rd season technically, and then there's a
Isn't
guy
that
group.
Produce Camp?
What Produce Camp is technically the 3rd season of Produce in
Right,
China.
right. Sorry, yeah. That's fine.
And then there's a 3rd show coming out too with guys, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a tough subject because like there's no right answer, to be honest. It did change some things, but
Hey, I will add, it's been a big benefit to me. It's
Yeah.
changed me as a K-pop fan. I've done things I never imagined I would ever do. I woke up at like 3 a.m. to do votes. Like, when did I ever
Wow.
think about doing that? Yeah, I did that. That's how much I went. But
at the end of the day, the last thing I want to say is that I know that the manipulation is it's confirmed, right? Like, it's confirmed. It's confirmed at this point.
why?
the- the-
Clue.
The thing I always just say is, don't hate the players, hate the game. And by what I mean by that is, don't hate the kids because they had nothing to do with
Yeah.
it. Hate the adults that did the
Don't hate-
manipulation. All right,
Hate
yeah.
the player, man. Hate the game.
This is one of those messy subjects, but sometimes we gotta look back on it because it is one of the most significant things to happen last year.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, news and events from last week. Future groups from the big 5 agencies. Now, I know some people don't like to be grouped into that, but that's what we're gonna be calling them. I apologize if you don't like that. So a couple articles this week were released looking at the future groups from what we are calling the big 5 agencies, and those include SM, YG, JYP, Big Hit, and the CJ E&M umbrella. And we thought it would be an interesting topic for the crew to discuss. And we are going to be specifically looking at recently debuted groups, so that is 2018 to now, and future groups from these cornerstone companies. So let's go through one company at a time. SM, right? 2019, we got Wavy, which is like a NCT Chinese offshoot, right? That's they're in a bit of a weird area. 2020, we're expecting a new girl group, and in 2021, we're getting a new boy group ? But it may just be new NCT units because they talked about how the Dream guys would be added to new units, and NCT is supposed to be like the final thing, like boy group that happens in SM, but they just want to just keep adding members. They made that statement back in the day, so we don't really know what's going on with that one. But how do we feel about SM, right? New girl group. That's the most, I think, obviously significant thing that's going to happen.
Yes.
I think this will be huge.
Really?
Huge, big deal.
I think it'll be a really big deal. Like, no, okay, obviously Red Velvet has done really well. They've put out good music. They've been wildly successful. But did they have the monopoly that Girls' Generation had?
No.
I don't think so, to be honest. And sure, Red Velvet definitely had a level of success, but I think internally for SM, I think they want more. That would be my guess.
I mean,
because
yeah,
of that,
you
they're
gotta
gonna be spending all that money for this new girl group in 2020. That's what I think.
you gotta think, right?
Yeah.
They look at the industry. That's their job, right? They see what Twice is doing, right?
Right.
And because of the success they had with Girls' Generation a couple generations ago, right? What we call Gen 2 or whatever you call it. They definitely look at that, right? Like they clearly see
Yeah.
we are not number 1 right now, right? In terms of girl groups. They objectively probably look at the numbers, see the concert tour they did, and be like, we didn't do that. And they're probably going to invest heavily in order to assure that they do that next year. But then they saw ITZY, right? Essentially the groups that all of these companies, the girl groups that they're going to release, have to compete against ITZY. That is the direct competitor. And they've seen the success ITZY has had so far because they got the leg up by debuting last year. It's going to be interesting. Now, 2021, new boy group, right, Anita?
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be a brand new boy group entity, or do you think it's just going to be more NCT content?
To be honest, I don't think SM is right now at the moment willing to step down from the NCT concept. So I am assuming that if there's going to be a new boy group, it's going to be within the umbrella of NCT to some extent.
The article
I don't
really
know.
didn't
It
say.
will be interesting.
The
didn't say.
article really read like it's a separate boy group.
Well, here's the thing. They wanted NCT to be like, this is our final boy group where we're just gonna have a rotating system. That's what they wanted on paper, right? That was the whole concept back in the day about NCT. I also don't feel that they think it's been as successful as they hoped for, right?
I hope they realize, yes.
There was a financial, so some companies do these independent financial reports about what these companies are going to be doing in the future, right? They spoke about the new boy group and NCT as completely separate entities in that report.
Yeah.
That's what makes me a little bit concerned about what's going on there. Now, I think we might get both a new boy group and new NCT units. I would not be surprised.
No,
if that
I do
happened.
not want that. I don't
You don't
want
want that. You want one or the other.
No,
I feel like it's just direct competition if you do that. It'd be really tough. To be honest, I know that the state of NCT's concept is a little iffy, and they're kind of working with it as it goes, as we've seen with the Dream unit. But I feel like it's gotten to an extent where it might be really big now to admit that it doesn't work, and especially if they're trying to say that this is what we're going to stick with for boy groups from now on, right? So I don't know. I just really I fear that if this group is completely removed from the NCT concept, it's gonna look bad on NCT, if that makes sense, without it meaning to.
Yeah.
But I also think SM is a company that needs to prioritize its assets and the amount of funds they have. And if it sucks horribly for NCT, but I think it would not be an idea to completely pivot and just debut a completely separate boy group.
So you think they're committed to it, right? They have to be committed to NCT as a brand.
That's exactly opposite of what I said.
You said that they should pivot.
Yeah, that's word per word what I said. Yeah,
I didn't hear what you said. It was confusing.
Don't listen to me.
No, the way you said it was very confusing.
No. I think I hope they realize that the NCT system has not been as successful as their predecessors. And that they're willing to pivot in terms of business. And experiment maybe later down the line.
Okay. They've still made so much money off of NCT though.
I'm not saying NCT failed. That's not what I said. But okay, think of the predecessors that came before.
It's admitting defeat though to make a whole new entity. It is.
I mean,
it is.
Okay, no. The point of a company is to make money, not to win or lose. They need to make money. They need to profit.
But what I'm saying right now is they're making tons of money. They had that, that live concert service, right? NCT had the concert, right? I think it was 127, I believe. They had 100,000 buys at over $20 each.
Okay. I have never said that NCT is doing horribly. I have never said NCT failed. I am saying compared to the groups that SM put out previously, they have not been as successful. Is what I'm trying to say. Am I crazy for saying that? Think of EXO, think of Super Junior, think of TVXQ.
I get what you're saying, right? But at the same time, I don't think that the profits have dropped off that much. They're still making a lot of money off of NCT.
Okay, well,
at least in my opinion.
I think, in my opinion, I think keeping NCT Dream separate was them admitting defeat. And now I hope, and by that, I think they hope they go back to the traditional method of make a boy group and call it good. You don't have a 5 different rotation system where that person moves into the other person position and they new position. We don't do that anymore.
What about you? What's your closing thoughts on this, Anina?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm very biased because I want NCT to have a good, I guess, an established reputation, right? And I feel like they're still not quite there. They could be, but it's still doubtful, right? Because of the system, because of how it works, and it's kind of iffy. And I feel like SM also realizes that, and that's why I feel like it's a very it's a very interesting thought to think that they might go back on this concept next year, because it doesn't feel that long. It's only been like what, 4 years, 5 years since this whole concept of NCT and SM Rookies started. So I don't know. I feel like I don't think they'll switch so
I don't
fast.
think they will either.
At least not next year. But I can't completely say that it's not going to happen, because I feel like it's not that stable, the situation that they're in. So I feel like they could try it.
I just can't see them. I think that they're stubborn, and I just can't see them admitting like we need a new group. I cannot see them doing that. All right.
I did read a lot of like Korean community posts,
And
that
they
were, like,
think
kind
it's
of-
gonna be a separate new thing.
everyone was pretty sure it's gonna be a separate thing. The way it's worded in the article,
Dang.
like
Okay.
that was not even a point of discussion, to be honest.
You're talking like the Hana Bank report thing. That was one of the things that
The
pointed
Hana
to
Bank
this.
report thing, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to YG. The only new groups they got, but they're kind of big. So the first one this year, they're saying that they're going. Well, Treasure 12. I don't know if we're calling Treasure 12 Treasure. There's debut. There's like a teaser photos now. Oh, we just lost Warren. Oh, Warren's back. Did you press?
I made a mistake. Sorry.
You left the call, sir.
I made the mistake. I'm sorry.
All right, so Treasure, right? There's photos now. Anita, a teaser photo just dropped before we started recording.
Oh boy.
So it's happening. The new girl group is pretty interesting too, right? We got
Wait, did
Black
you say a new
Monsters.
girl group?
yeah, they think it's gonna happen either this year or next year. It would 100% be next year based on the way YG does timing, right? All right, so Treasure, right? Their last boy groups, Icon and Winner, right? That's the generation before this new boy group. Icon and Winner, there some of the members are starting to go to the military. I think this makes sense. Now, should they have debuted this already? Probably,
Yes.
but because of all of the controversies they've had, it's been delayed, right? New girl group is the thing that's way more interesting to me, right? Because at least the guy group, the progression seems there, right? The girl group, we got Blackpink, right? Let's talk about Blackpink. There was news about their comeback, which we'll cover in quick takes. Let's just say that when they said 2 weeks ago that they were coming back in June, it wasn't everything that they said it was. That's the news. But new girl group. When you have a group right now, right, that the only thing that's barring them from being number one, if not 1A, right, is music. The amount of music they have.
Content.
I cannot fathom how you would be like, let's get another girl group going. I cannot fathom that. Call me crazy.
Yeah.
But when I'm looking at my girl group right now, and I see that they are so successful on social media, right? They are so successful in the general population, whether it's people who like K-pop or not. And the only thing holding them back is content. I don't know how you can make the decision to be like, we need a new girl group. I just can't.
I feel like I realized something by looking at this report. I think YG doesn't care about that.
Oh.
I think they've realized that they can monetize without having a lot of comebacks. So they're like, okay, don't do comebacks. Let's just monetize and as much as possible and call it good.
So it's
I
more
think
just
that's
like
what it is.
Instead of the music first, it's the brand first approach.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I realized that they went on a world tour, right, recently, covering other people's songs. Right?
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. Like, how many songs do they have in their library?
They have around 13.
13.
Of
That's
their
an
own songs.
album. That's a single album. Like,
Well, the new album's gonna have 10 more songs, sir. We might get those.
oh, is it?
Ooh.
Yeah. But I saw a joke where someone's like, it's gonna be 2 songs and 8 remixes.
No.
No. It's gonna
that
be
was a
2
joke.
songs, 6 remixes, and like 2 instrumentals. That's
the thing that's the worst is like, I know we make jokes, right? Like,
Right.
they're made out of anger, not out of our dislike of Blackpink, because I really like Blackpink.
no, yeah.
It Treasure, as I said before, yeah, I think it's about time, right? That's the feeling. And with the new potential girl group either this year or next year, I'm like, hold on. Let's give Blackpink like 5 comebacks before you, and the solo songs before you want to do that, right? I'm thinking like if you want to hit like 2022, 23, maybe, right? But like 2020, 2021, okay, right? I don't know. I feel we get the precedent if we talk about this situation. I don't know. Let's move on to a company that's making a lot of moves internationally. So JYP, right? JYP. 2018, we got Stray Kids. We also had the Boy Story, that group in China, which was the young kids. 2019, obviously, Rookie of the Year for female artists, ITZY last year. 2020, apparently they're planning a Chinese boy group on top of Boy Story. And then we got the Niji project, which is the Japanese girl group. And then 2021, they're slated to have a domestic Korean boy group. That's pretty much the successor group to... they're not even successors to Stray Kids. It's like, it's soon. Like
Very soon.
Very soon for that.
Really?
I don't know what I was thinking like successor to GOT7, but I'm like, that's Stray Kids. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with that one. What this all speaks to me is that JYP is expanding at an incredible rate, right?
Right.
Yes.
Now,
A group in China, a group in Japan. My God.
I think it's
Everywhere.
good though that they're staying in Asia, because you remember they tried to do the Wonder Girls America thing. Like,
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that
We don't talk about that here.
go watch the Nickelodeon movie though.
Oh,
go
boy.
check that out. I have that on a VHS somewhere. But I don't know how well Boy Story has done or is doing. I really have no clue about that. I know Niji Project got a lot of traction because with Twice and their Japanese members, a lot of eyes in Japan on JYP as a whole. And JYP is one of the companies that has continuously gone into Japan to make money. And I think it makes all the sense. They got a domestic project that feels like it's been built within Japan, not a Korean group that has come into Japan. So I think that the Japanese public is really willing to support like a Niji project, because it's a J-pop / K-pop group, I would say.
It's a K-pop
reminds
approach to J-pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of the JO1 type of thing.
Yep.
The Purdue series, yeah.
Right.
I think overall, like, JYP has just done a great job over the past like 3-4 years with what they've been putting out. Now, new boy group 2021. When you got
Yeah.
Stray Kids in 2018, that's the weird thing, right?
It seems too soon.
It seems too soon because, you know, Stray Kids, every comeback, they keep getting bigger, right? I really like the stuff Stray Kids have. I still think that it feels like in K-pop now, your window of build, what I mean by that is like when you're building your initial run of popularity, it's longer now than it's ever been, I think. You can go like 4 or 5 years building now. When in the past it was like, we need to get big by year 2, year 3. Stray Kids is still on the build, for sure. New boy group next year, maybe, though, seems way too early to me.
I would agree.
Martin, you say something?
Here's the thing. I don't really know how big of a power Stray Kids fandom has, right?
They're pretty big. They're like top 6 or 7 in album sales.
Okay, never mind. They're big. If that's the case. I mean,
Yeah, I feel like Stray Kids, like you mentioned, they're still very much on the building stage. They did have some touring going on, but I feel like they can definitely do more.
Yes.
And I don't know. I feel like, I guess maybe this my perception of a new group. It feels like it kind of puts the previous groups in like a, not necessarily the spotlight. So like not all the resources are going to them, right? Because we're focusing on building this new thing. So I don't know. It feels really soon to switch focus to a new boy group, but I don't know.
Here's the thing. With GOT7, right?
right.
GOT7 released good music, like Hard Carry. That was one of the things that made them pop off. But the thing about GOT7 that got big was that their members got big. Like,
Yeah.
the
Variety
popularity
stuff.
behind like Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Behind like Bam Bam Blue, like Jackson because of his nationality, he just popped off, right? Like, and GOT7 got this humongous international fandom, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I feel like Stray Kids is starting to head in that direction, but I don't feel right now that any of the members are as notable as like Jackson but that's a weird thing to say, right? Like Jackson specifically.
I think starting with Twice, I don't know if GOT7 debuted before Twice. I think Twice was the transition point where JYP said, "All right, I'm never going to make it a thing where a single member is popular." Especially compared to, and I think that really played into Stray Kids. And the difference is Twice is very GP friendly, and Stray Kids is very fandom based because that's how typically girl groups and boy groups work. And I think I'm gonna make two guesses. I think one, JYP is assuming that they're gonna keep building into 2021. I think the other thing is, I think when I look at Stray Kids' discography, it's and their credits, it's a lot of Stray Kids self-produced stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a lot less investment compared to other stuff. Where, for example,
guess.
Twice, you have to hire like 5 different producers for a single mini album.
Yeah,
Stray
and
Kids, you don't gotta do that. Maybe they just realize that they don't need to have that many resources for the group in order for it to keep growing. So they're like, all right, let's keep the party going, invite more people over, because it's only midnight.
yeah, and I don't want to discredit Day 6 at all. We should still mention them, right?
Yes,
they're,
Day 6.
Right.
But they're in a weird situation because they're in a band and they do touring more on a small scale, like a band actually does, where they hit up smaller venues. It's like they're K-pop, but they're a K-pop band, so it's a little bit of a different situation. Because what we're talking about here is like the pure K-pop acts in the company.
Right.
All right, I think that's enough for JYP. Let's move on to big hit, right? 2019 TXT, massive. 2020, we're getting this B-Lift project. And 2021, we're getting the new girl group through Source, which is G-Friend's company that they acquired. The new girl group makes sense to me. They haven't had a girl group since Glam, I believe, back in the day. I think that they are... No, I'm talking about like Big Hit itself. Hasn't been the head of a girl group in that long.
Okay. Sorry. Okay.
I think that TXT and B-Lift, I know everyone's like, what's going to happen, right? Because they're two entities.
Yeah.
It seems like to me that they keep hammering home that B-Lift is a global project. Like,
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means, but they keep going out of their way to separate it from being like, this is pure K-pop, right?
Interesting.
I think that's the way they're approaching this. Now, the B-Lift is different, obviously, because there's a CJ component to it, right?
The media component.
The media component. And the track record of K-pop-esque groups on an international level is not the best, right? Can Big Hit and CJ figure out that puzzle? We'll have to see.
I think if we are ever going to be ready for a world thing,
It's this group.
it's this one.
Yes.
If it's ever gonna happen, it's this time around. So
I completely agree with that.
yeah, I don't blame them for giving the shot.
At the end of the day, out of all these companies, I have the most confidence in Big Hit because, right? Like,
Really?
it's JYP or Big Hit for me in terms of confidence.
Oh no, my bets would be on JYP, to be honest, but that's because I'm only I like to play safe, I guess.
I mean, Big Hit's the safe bet, dude. Just the residual money that comes in to their company is the highest. Okay. Who's the one with the $1 trillion evaluation?
Okay, I mean, if you put it that way, yes, but I this is a topic for another time. Let's discuss.
Okay.
CJ
Lastly,
E&M. What
we
does
got
CJ have?
CJ and M. So CJ and M's weird because they're like an entertainment company. They got TV obviously through Mnet. So all of these groups are like CJ groups, but you know what I mean? They're a little detached from CJ as a whole itself once they're done through the program. So 2018, iZone from S9, obviously produced 48, and then Idol School respectively. 2019, we had X1, which was through produced X101, but y'all know what happened to them. And then 2020, we had TOO through World Class. We got the B-Lift thing, and we have JOI. I don't know if they're in their management structure, but the show was in Japan was through a Japanese company and in cooperation with CJ, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if we count them at all. They are dipping more and more into the group game, right? That is my overarching feeling about them. I don't know if it's a good thing or not.
Here's what's interesting about CJ, right?
Yeah.
If looking at the results we had in 2018, 2019, 2020, we have to look at what they invested in a couple years before that, right? 2015, 16, 17. what they did around that time is they spent so much money taking big portions of so many small companies, right?
Yeah.
They've kind of stopped doing that. In fact, they've kind of stopped investing, and in fact, they've like divested. I guess is that a word? Like they've sold back the shares, right? They've
Okay.
disinvested in a bunch of different companies. They're making their shares smaller.
Mm-hmm.
They're in a sense demonopolizing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be interesting. The next things that they do is going to be very interesting. Is what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry, that was too long of an explanation for such a little context narrative.
They're in a weird situation. I think that obviously, similar to Big Hit, that B lifting is the most intriguing, right? What is that going to look like?
Right.
Because
Yes.
it's like there's
They're
two
building
power
something.
players together on a group just is intriguing. We normally don't see that, right? Normally there's like a
Right.
side and a B side, but it seems like they're going A and A side, right? I don't know
Right.
what that's gonna look like. We don't know what the global component is. Obviously, we keep mentioning it, but should be interesting at the end of the day, right?
Yep, I'm curious.
Maybe it's going to be a big group with a person from every country in the world.
No,
You
Huh.
know, I hope not. Like, a guy from America, like one person from Korea, no more, and like one from like Madagascar, and like
and you got to think,
Right.
right? So Eyes One is slated to end some point next year, right? 2021.
Yeah.
You got
yeah,
From Miss Nine's in a bit of a weird situation because they were like residually involved in the Purdue scandal, and they still haven't like. There's like no content coming out of their camp right now, so that's kind of
they're supposed
concerning.
to come back later this year, I think.
Yeah,
That's what
but
I read.
let's just say like, we don't know how they'll be affected by everything that's happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
X1 was a oof, but it's not their fault. It's the company's fault, right? TOO, they're on Road to Kingdom right now. They're honestly doing pretty well, which is
Yes.
it's surprising and it's a good surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Is JOI popping off, Anita? Do you know this or not?
JO1.
JO1, sorry,
They're-
I keep calling it JOI.
They've been doing pretty good. I think there was some comments on the Discord comparing like album sales. I feel like the market in Japan is very different, of course. There's big players as far as male groups that kind of monopolize the market, but what can you do? I think they're doing pretty well.
Mhm.
And I'm glad that it's gradual, to be honest, because I feel like that gives them more longevity. And I think they're doing great. I think they should have a comeback sometime this year, or I don't know if it's planned, but they should, I think, just to keep up the momentum. But I think it was very well done. I'm highly satisfied with how Produce was handled in Japan, to be honest.
Okay.
Hmm.
Anita, are they
Yeah.
frequently on TV?
Yes, they are on TV.
They are.
My
Yeah,
other
which is
question.
good.
My
Are
other
they on
question-
shows
oh.
like the music shows, like M Station or like stuff like that?
I haven't checked if they've been on music shows specifically, but I know they've been on a lot of like I don't know if it's considered variety, but like a lot of like news type of show, like kind of
Oh.
I don't know what to call them, but as guests, right? And I feel like that's a good
Right.
sign.
Okay, interesting. I feel like they're not anything right now in terms of like, that came off really weird. Like, cause like if you look at the idol market in Japan, it's like there's underground like idols, and then there's like the really big ones that like have monopolized TV, and they're like doing a bit of both, where they're creating their own like kind of territory, I guess. And this is kind of very, I don't know. I hope they're doing really well. Anyways, I cut
Do you-
off dog.
do you-
I
do you
cut
know-
off dog like 5 times.
If CJ's involved in their managing structure,
Yeah.
Anita,
I'm not sure. To be honest, I feel like
they are Warren.
if
They are.
they're oh, okay.
In what extent?
They are managed by Lap One Entertainment, which is 70% Mnet, well 70% CJENM, sorry, and then 30% Yoshimoto, which Yoshimoto is one of the bigger companies that definitely have
Yeah.
a monopoly, especially in the Tokyo area. Very interesting.
Okay, so I think that covers that though. A lot of things are gonna come out in the next couple of years from all of these companies. But Let's move on to the next news story. So Kcon 2020 summer.
What?
So CJ another CJ News, announced on May 13th that they will be hosting Kcon 2020 summer, which is planned to be a live online concert/live stream next month, which is going to run 24/7 from Saturday, June 20th to Friday, June 26th in partnership with YouTube. For 7 full days nonstop, Kcon will bring live and pre-tape content, including live performances from K-pop acts, behind-the-scenes contact, meet and greet sessions, influencer-led panels, collaborations, and more. The lineup and ticketing details for the event are yet to be announced, but there are plans for around 30 artists and influencers to participate. There will be both free and paid content. A little bit of a rumor drop, though. People are expecting like the online portion to be $19.99 per month. I don't know why there's a monthly thing, but that's what the report was stating. We don't know if that's true, though. And previously, CJ announced the cancellation of Kcon 2020 New York due to the ongoing global COVID-19 pandemic. Plans for Kcon 2020 LA, though, they released information on that. They are going to continue to move forward with the situation, so they have not canceled it. And CJ has stated that they are monitoring the situation locally. So it is not canceled yet.
When would that be? In August or?
I don't remember. I think it was planned for August when it was supposed to be.
I mean, all right.
August
we'll see what
27th
happens with
to
Kcon LA.
August 27th to August 30th was when it was supposed to be.
I mean, I don't know, man. If that's a good call or bad call, but $20.
We don't know what any of that is, but that is what one of the major like news reporting people were saying that they were seeing.
Okay.
Let's talk about the thing as a whole. That's a long live stream.
Yes.
It's not all gonna be live, right? It's gonna be some pre-tape. So I'm sure at night they're just gonna play Kcons from the past. I would assume something like that.
Probably. Yeah.
It should be interesting, but it's like how long can you watch Twitch every day? That's my argument. How much live stream content can you watch in a day?
I'll probably just tune in for the stuff I'm only interested in. Like, like if IZ*ONE does stuff, I'll check it out. If Rocket Punch does stuff, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the end of the list. That's the list. Sorry.
I really wonder what it's gonna look like. Is there gonna be multiple channel streaming with multiple like things happening? Or is it going to be one centralized channel? Who knows? Because when Kcon really runs, there's like 5 rooms with different stuff going on at the same time. But I'm curious as to what it's gonna look like. Because also, if it's $20 a month, that's a lot of money.
I mean, actually, now that I think about it, it's a lot cheaper than normal Kcon. So, I guess it's a bit of a win situation.
And you also have to think people are willing to spend $20 plus to watch the SM concerts, which is like a 3 hour thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Oh, I'm just gonna talk to you directly, Warren. Your video is lagging, not your sound though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I could hear you fine, but on the screen, your mouth doesn't move when you talk. Just kind of.
Oh well, too bad. What are you gonna do, right? Okay.
Well, let me try to fix this real quick. Let me see if I could do it. Oh, we back. I think it's good now. It's good.
Okay.
All right, I fixed it.
We have some technical difficulties.
Let's now move on to the final major story, but we gotta get through it kind of quick. We're running really long today. So more Island and big hit news. So let me just go through this. Rain and Zico have been confirmed to be joining CJ, E&M, and Big Hit's audition program Island as judges and mentors. One of the teaser videos also stated that they have invested more than 20 billion Korean won, which is about 16.2 million USD, over the last 3 years. So that's how much they've invested. Island begins on June 26th at 11 p.m. Korean Standard Time. Okay, Rain and Zico.
Rain.
Okay, real quick, Rain is a big meme in Korea right now.
I know, he's been a meme since the unit, essentially.
He's doing this again, then. Yeah.
The whole gang music video or gang is.
Did it get viral again?
No, it's huge right now because
how bad it is.
Yeah, I didn't want to say bad, but sure, yes, this is what it is. It's actually very outdated in terms of 2017-ness.
It was outdated when it released.
That's what I was saying, yeah.
Okay, so Rain, legendary singer, legendary figure in the world of K-pop. He was the main mentor for the unit, like the host mentor thing. During it, he released a music video called Gang. He additionally had like the optics were bad because the winners of one of the rounds got to appear in a live stage of him doing it. And there's a scene of him yelling at them for not being good, saying like, take this seriously. And then he released the music video and it was horrendous. So the optics are just horrific. Warren's like trying not to laugh. It's like, it's a bad look, right?
Yeah, it's like the biggest running joke on Korean internet right now, how bad of a music video it is and like how bad of a song it is as well.
Yeah.
Like,
so go check it out, make your own judgment. They're pretty big names though, especially getting Zico, especially where he is right now, to be a judge and a mentor. And he does have he has been on like Show Me the Money as one of the judges before, so should be interesting. Big Hit also announced 2 more things. The first one, they dropped a mysterious teaser announcing D7. So that was on May 17th yesterday or a couple days ago. I don't know exactly when, but it has been counting down, right? There's a countdown for something. And then BTS's official Twitter account also retweeted it, so people think it is BTS related, but we have no clue what it is. Lastly, the reports of Big Hit acquiring Pledis resurfaced again, and people are talking about it. The 2 companies came out, though, and said they did not deny it, right?
Oh?
They said various opportunities are open to us, and nothing has been decided yet.
So they're talking.
They're talking.
Okay.
They are friends with benefits right now, but they have not become a relationship.
they have met up as Sunbes and Hubes and are feeling
But
each
they are
other
not-
out in a good way, you know.
But they are not officially dating yet.
They're not officially dating yet.
That would be a gigantic acquisition, as we always talk about. But let's get into the quick takes. So here's the one we referenced earlier. Today on May 18th, YG Entertainment made a statement regarding Blackpink's comeback. The group is currently in preparation for their long-awaited return with a pre-release coming out in mid-June, followed by another pre-release in July or August. The full comeback will not come until September, but will be a full-length album containing 10 songs. It should be noted, though, when you drop false information, we're going to call you out. 2 weeks ago, YG stated, this is the direct quote, Blackpink is scheduled to make a June comeback. Once the exact date has been finalized, we will officially share the news with fans first. They did say that 2 weeks ago.
I don't believe a single word of what they're saying. Give it 2 weeks. It's going to be like a September comeback with like a pre-release in like October or something.
A pre-release after the fact. I know. It's becoming like a lot of people are saying, why are fans angry? At least you're getting stuff that's been announced. At the same time, as all of us said, we're not going to believe it until we're literally watching the music videos for any of this. So take it with a grain of salt. Next, 17 will be releasing a 15-episode documentary series titled Hit the Road on their official YouTube channel and Weverse. Starting on May 15th, there will be a prologue episode, and then following that, episodes will be airing on Wednesdays and Fridays. 17's Hit the Road captures the group's journey from their most recent world tour, Ode to You. Everyone's releasing documentary series right now.
Yeah.
Twice did. Taeyong's gonna have one, and now we're getting 17. Next, We Entertainment dropped a teaser for their upcoming boy group, currently known to fans as We Boys. The lineup is ridiculous. So members are believed to include former X1 member Yohan, former JBJ member Donghan, former Reigns member Daehyun, former
what?
1 to 9 members Youngha and Junso, and former Produce X101 contestant and now trainee at We Entertainment, Seokhwa.
Wow.
What a lineup.
Donghan, I didn't expect him.
This is like, I don't think it's right to call them like the land of misfit toys, but it's a lot of people from a lot of other places, right?
Yeah.
And we're gonna throw this all
Interesting.
together. Let's do it.
What happened? I don't know what Reigns is or 1 to 9 is. Were they like a group or like?
They were post-produced groups as well. Well, not 1 to 9, but JBJ and Reigns were.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, one to 9 was the group formed from Under 19, which was another survival show.
Yeah.
So they were not a permanent group. So those are some of the kids who were in the winning group that disbanded. It wasn't like a bad disband. It was just like the group was at its end.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. It's gonna be interesting then. Huh.
Also, like, everyone thought Donghan was just going to be a solo guy.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I thought.
And now he's going to join a group. They have this weird teaser where one dude's in like a mask and it looks like he has a crew cut. It's like, and he looked he looked kind of more jacked than everyone else. Like he looked like you know how idols are very skinny, small guys. He looked a little thick, and I was like, okay, I see you. Like, no, that we literally had this discussion on our Discord. Everyone was like, thick lad on the right with the crew cut. It was surprising. Go look it up.
On the right with the
And he was wearing like a Jason mask. Like you couldn't see the mask, but he was wearing like an over the face mask. They're hiding like some of everyone was in shadows, right? But a couple of the guys, they was just shadows, and a couple of guys were wearing masks. It's just a weird thing. We don't know what's going on. It's mysterious.
Do they have like a criminal concept like Jason?
I don't know, but look up the crew cut boy. It's strange.
All right. Okay.
Next, a little bit sad. Daisy is officially no longer a member of Momoland, but is still under contract at MLD Entertainment. So we don't know, like, is she being held hostage on her contract? We don't know. But on the 13th, fans found that her profile picture was removed from the Momoland page on their website. In response, MLD Entertainment did release a statement saying that Daisy is still under contract at MLD Entertainment, and it only reflects the recent reorganization of Momoland into a 6-member group. So a couple of the members left. I think it was Taya, Yonu, and now Daisy is not in the group.
That's getting funky.
Big oof there.
Keeps getting funky and funkier.
Before we get into, we got a lot of big oof news. One I didn't write here was that you remember the Eastlight situation where two brothers got beat up by some of the producers, right? And then some of the other members testified on the side of the company, right? The people who beat up the kids.
Yeah.
The law firm representing the brothers who got abused now want an investigation onto the members who testified for perjury.
Huh?
So, what I mean by that is
on?
the adults at the company who abused these kids, they got arrested, they got charged, they're going to jail, right?
Right.
But some of the other members testified on their side, saying nothing happened ever.
Okay.
But now that stuff was proven to happen, they might get investigated for perjury for lying to the courts.
Okay.
Oh my god, this is so messy.
I get that that's like the next step, I guess, and given the context. I don't like that it's dragging out.
Yeah.
I guess I can't expect a happy ending, but like it's a very bad ending. So.
All right, here's the COVID section's back. So COVID-19 had a small resurgence in Korea. I think a lot of people are aware of this, and it was all traced back to nightclubs in Itaewon, which is a area in Seoul which has a lot of nightlife, and it used to be associated with like foreigners and partying, that kind of thing, right? That was essentially what it used to be known for.
Still, kind of, yeah.
There were 3 separate incidents involving K-pop idols. And we are going to be mentioning them because they were specifically acknowledged by the involved parties and their agencies. So these were confirmed things. The first one, on May 11th, it was reported that Kara member Yuri admitted to visiting clubs directly linked to the resurgence, and she apologized and is quarantining. She literally visited some of the clubs that the outbreak was traced to.
Oh no, what?
On the same day that these outbreaks were set to happen.
What?
Big oof. The next one, on May 12th, Winners Mino was spotted performing in a club in Gangwon-do province. So Gangwon-do was far away from Seoul, so not connected to the outbreak, but the optics were bad. YG sent out an apology statement later in the day, but this one's a little bit more iffy because there's conflicting reports. Some people were saying it wasn't a club, it was like a guest house with his friends, and someone leaked that he performed for his friends, but we don't really know what's going on. That one's a little bit, there was like counter reports for that one. The big one that happened today though, May 19th, Dispatch. So a couple of these were through Dispatch. But Dispatch reported that BTS's Jungkook, Astro's Unu, NCT's Jaehyun, and 17's Mingyu were in Itaewon from April 25th to 26th and visited a restaurant and nightclubs afterwards. The nightclubs they went to were not connected to the outbreak, but they were still in the same area. All 4 tested negative for coronavirus, and all 4 of their agencies separately acknowledged what has happened and have apologized for it.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
that's bad, and they're all part of what's called the 97 line, so they're all friends because they're about the same age.
Oh yeah, for the last report.
Here's the thing: Korea technically reopened the clubs where you can go, right? If we're being super technical, they did nothing legally wrong, right? Ethically, though, it doesn't look good for them.
Yeah.
I will say, while I think it's not the best thing that happened, I have a bunch of friends in Korea, and I've noticed that a bunch of them are out and about, and even you know, and I don't really blame that these things happened because I'm aware that there are many people who are out and about now, given that they're wearing masks. So I mean, I don't really blame them, but at the same time, it's like, why? Like, you're a celebrity. Like, I guess
it's like my whole point is like, obviously for these levels of celebrities, because these are some pretty notable people, right?
Right.
Like, can't y'all just like chill out at one of these people's houses, get some drinks,
House party.
order a bunch of food, and chill? Like, do you need to go out in public right now? Maybe that's just me talking about my personal opinions on this, but the optics just aren't good, especially because of the obviously it's not like they could have known there was going to be a resurgence, right?
Right.
But at the same time, why would you even put yourself in a situation in case something like this happened? That's just my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like super angry at them or anything. It's just
Yeah, but they're getting like crucified in the media right now.
To be honest, I feel like I do understand the perspective of like, yeah, it's you shouldn't have done that, but like you're not doing anything illegal. Like the general public was able to go to these clubs, right? And the thing is that these people are not the general public, right?
Yeah,
so they're
held to a higher
risk.
standards.
Yeah, and I feel like
that's.
I guess we kind of forget that too. Like they're people, right? And they also might want to go out, but unfortunately, they do get more criticism if they do stuff like this.
The reason they criticize, obviously, is because they're setting the public example to like other people, right? Because they're public figures. So just a bad situation. But now we are at comebacks and releases. There is a ton of them again. Warren, hit us with them.
With ASM.
Oh my god.
Okay, Doug is making a weird face. I'm not doing it.
It's a little hard to hear.
May 19th on Tuesday. We're doing NCT 127 coming back. Oh boy.
Already.
What?
Already.
I know, right? Already. So fast. May 20th on Wednesday, we have Lovely's Sujong making her solo debut and Crush featuring Joy. I gotta say, I'm really excited for Lovely's Sujong. I'm not gonna lie. May 21st, Thursday, we have Yubin coming back with a solo comeback. May 25th on Monday, we have Kim Woo-seok making a solo debut. Kcon of EXO and DKB, also known as TACT. Confirmed comeback news. We also have 1 week coming back on May 26th. Punch coming back May 27th. Moonbyul of Mamamoo with a solo comeback on May 29th. AB6 coming back in June 6th. Ha Sung-woon coming back June 8th. IZ*ONE coming back on June 15th.
Yep.
Oh boy, you excited, Douglas?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Stray Kids coming back sometime in June, and Momoland coming back sometime in June.
So one other thing about IZ*ONE for my WIZ*ONE fans here, the delayed Eyes on Me, the movie, which was a thing, which got delayed around the time everything got delayed for Fiesta back in the day. So it will finally be premiering on June 10th as well. So that's some more IZ*ONE news.
Nice.
The IZ*ONE song, I'm kind of interested. I'm kind of hoping we might get Rumor 2.0 because it's summer. And we might get
No.
That's my hope.
No more Moonbathon.
I want Moonbathon, fam.
No.
But
even
also,
Bandits moved away from Moonbathon. No more
here's the thing.
Moonbathon.
This is the first not in like the Flower trilogy. So it could be anything.
Right, we're moving.
Was it supposed to be a trilogy?
No, yeah, no, because they switched up the production team, you remember?
Oh.
You remember the Pledis guy was like, yeah, I don't have control of them anymore.
Oh, that guy. Oh, okay.
Because he was the one making the decisions at the end, so they've switched that up. So it could be anything what they come back with.
Interesting.
I'm not the biggest fan of summer songs. I hope it's not a pure summer song. I'm just gonna throw it out there right now. Watch It Is now. I just jinxed myself. But let's get into the state of the nation now. I haven't been doing too much in the world of K-pop. In terms of survival shows though, Youth With You still. So obviously I've been talking about Youth With You, Chuang, also known as Idol Producer. I really like one show, really dislike another show.
Why?
Let me guess.
Youth With You, I've never been this invested in a competition.
Wow.
We got like 2 weeks left. We cut
Dang.
the 35
man.
this past episode. It was sad. No, we cut the 20. That's what I meant to say. We went from
final.
35 to 20. It was sad. One kid I liked one kid that I was really pulling for got 21st place.
Oh
But
no.
It's kind of sad.
Yo, I'm sorry.
Oh no, I can't say that. That was spoil. I'm not gonna spoil anything. Just know, I highly recommend it. The subtitles, although sometimes they're a little bit shaky. They are literally subtitling everything. The same can't be said with Chuang. Now this is my problem with this show. Chuang, I said, super intense show, right? Competition atmosphere.
Yes.
Right.
You know, on Korean and Chinese shows and some Japanese shows, they essentially have subtitles going the whole time, right? Or to some extent.
Asian shows, Japan.
Chuang,
Korean.
and especially on these reality shows, normally whenever like a kid's there on the screen, they have like a name tag, who they are, maybe their company, what letter grade. Chuang has 0 of those things.
Oh, no visuals.
There is 0 visuals on that show. I cannot name like 10 kids on that show. My family, because like Chinese names, I'm not very used to Chinese names. I know Korean names and this general structure of those names, right?
Right,
Chinese names, there's like interesting things going on. I'm not very familiar. My family, we cannot name the real Chinese names of like, and also on Youth With You, every kid has like an English name on there. So you can identify someone. So my favorite person is Snow Kong, but they call her by her Chinese name, obviously, on the show, Kong Shu-er, right? On Chuang, they only go by the Chinese names, and there's no pop-up. I have no clue what any of these kids' names are. We've gotten to the point now where we recognize the kid and we give them nicknames. There's a girl on the show who looks like twice as Mina. She's known as Mina when we watch that show. We call her Mina. Like, there's a girl who looks like Tao. We call her Tao. Like,
Wait, Tao of Exo?
Yeah, like one of the hosts. Like it's a joke on that show. Even they say it that she looks like Tao. So,
oh my god.
Oh man.
like Sally from Kcon, I don't know her Chinese name. We call her Sally. I kind of know her name though. Like we make up names for everyone on that show. It's a problem because I don't know their names and I don't know their companies right off the top of my head. I'm not super invested, and I think that's a problem.
I mean, you don't have to watch the show, Douglas.
We're still watching it though. My family was watching it while we were recording this because I smelled popcorn being made. So they were definitely watching it.
I don't know. Like a 4-hour show is like
It's
not-
long.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
See, already not gonna lie, every time I watch any episode I produced, whether it was 48 or X101 or whatever, it was way too long for my small, tiny brain. Like, I lose focus real quick, and then next thing I know, I'm on my phone. So like, I don't know, 4 hours? I don't know how y'all do it. I can't.
The last thing I want to say about the shows is that this week, so Luhan and Tao are mentors, right? Judges on the show.
Yeah.
Chris Wu was on the show this week.
Oh yeah, I heard he was.
So
gonna
all
be
3 of them
there.
were together.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
Crazy stuff.
What a man. What a guy.
Anita, let's sort of pivot. Anita, how much of Road to Kingdom have you watched?
I'm almost all caught up. I've almost done with episode 3. I have like the last 20 minutes, which is like the beginning
Anita,
of the second round. Yeah.
bring tissues.
I know why.
I'm not gonna say why. But
No spoilers, but
Pentagon performs.
yes.
It is the saddest K-pop performance I've ever seen in my life.
Can I just say though, like, well, we already announced this because it was on the news that Gino was gonna enlist in the army, right?
Yeah.
And I just feel like he's had just a very interesting career, and he's so talented, and it's
Oh yeah.
I don't know, it's so like it's bittersweet for me because I feel like he's kind of been searching for that group and that break as well as an artist. And I don't know. I honestly hope Pentagon does really well in the show. I don't know if they'll go on to the actual Kingdom survival show as well.
I think
but
it's quite likely.
yeah, I feel like
to
they
be
have
honest.
a really good shot.
Yeah.
They're the seniors of the show of Road to Kingdom, but I don't know. It's sad, but I also feel like it's nice to see them like caring for each other, and like Gino had a really good time, and I'm pretty sure after enlistment they'll be doing good things as a whole group again. But I don't know. Gina's so talented. Like if you don't know his story, he used to be under SM. He was in SM The Ballad, a project group they did, and he was in the lineup for the round EXO. You know, like around. So he's from Suho's age group, I believe.
Yep.
And he left, and then he started again under Cube, and then Pentagon, and I don't know.
He was slated to be like their vocal teacher, and then they added him to the group. I heard too.
Yeah.
He's sort of like EXID Solji. She was gonna be like their trainer, and then they like added him to the group, which was great for him.
But yeah.
That performance though I highly suggest everyone go look up the Road to Kingdom Pentagon performance and bring some tissues while you're at it. It's rough. What else, Anita, have you been doing?
I had 3 suggestions because I've been listening to some B-sides. The first one is Gravity's B-side called Jumper. So this is the group with some of the X-Produce people
from Starship
that were supposed to be in X1. Kangmini was one of them. And this song is really, really interesting because it definitely has a different sound than their title track, their debut. And I found out that the reason is because it was produced by Joo-hwan from Monster X. And if you're... Yes. If you're familiar with... if you're familiar with Monster X and their sound, you definitely hear it in this song. And I don't know, the choreo is really fun. I actually found out of this song because I saw their practice video to this, and then I went back and saw that they were promoting it as well. But I don't know, it's really nice. I think it could have been a title track, honestly.
Do you like it more than Break All the Rules?
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. 2 other B-sides that I wanted to recommend are actually from TXT. So I feel like this is a running theme with me and TXT where I really, really like their B tracks. I'm a little iffy on their title tracks sometimes. But the two that I wanted to mention were Drama, which I think they've been promoting it as well. Because I saw like a performance they did for their comeback show. It's very upbeat, which is, I guess, I really like how they do that concept, to be honest. I'm not a huge fan of the dark, scary, creepy thing, but Drama is really fun. A second one from them is actually a cover that they did of a remake of a song. I believe it might be from the 80s, 90s. It's called Fairy of Shampoo.
Wait, what? Really?
Yes, I was surprised. I actually listened to their medley and I heard this song and I was like, is this correct? Because I know it's not their song, but they did it. They did a remake and I think they did really well. So if you're not familiar with the song, it has a more of a city pop kind of sound, the original. And there's been a lot of remakes, but definitely interesting take from them. I think they did more of a ballad type of sound, a little bit more slower down, but it's still really good. So I would check it out.
The band that made the original Shampoo or Shampoo Yojong, what's that in English? Fairy of the Shampoo.
Yeah.
They are one of the biggest game changers in the Korean music history.
Light and Salt.
Light and Salt. Yes.
Yes.
Crazy people. Crazy amazing song. I gotta check it out now.
Yeah.
Shoot. All right.
Do you know how they have that Good Girl show going on too? The female hip hop
I was waiting
show.
to talk about that. You know, because I've been
There's
feeling left out.
There's no subs. There's no subs. So.
Oh really?
There has
So I
not
can't
been
talk
subs.
about it.
You could talk about it, but
Go for it.
I know there was performances.
You know what? I've been feeling left out because Anita gets to talk about, Road to Kingdom. Doug gets to talk about, Youth with You too. I didn't have a reality show to talk about, and now I do.
Okay.
The whole gist of the show, if you watch it without subs, the whole gist of the show is there are like 10-ish girls from various parts of the Korean music industry that are like going to team up together to battle against Mnet. I think that was really clever. Mnet realizes there are antagonists here, and they went with it. Cool. Some notable people that might be relatable for you guys is Jiu from Card is here. Cheetah is here. Yeun from CLC is here. Ailey's there. I'm kind of blanking out. Jamie
Yeah.
from formerly of 15 and is there. Hyoyeon of Girl Generation is there as well.
Yeah, that's the big name. Yeah.
That's the biggest name. And then there's a bunch of rappers. Namely, there is none other than Queen Wasabi. There is Yunhui. There is also
Mom's teriyaki chicken sauce.
that's part of Yunhui. There's Sleek. And then there's a couple more. I forget. I'm blanking out. But only 5 of them got to do their initial performance.
Oh, okay.
Yeun of CLC, Changyeol. I was pleasantly surprised. She was.
Oh, good.
She's good. She's good.
Yeah, but okay. I've done this podcast for like 2 years now. I know what she's done. I know what CLC has put out in the past couple years, and I didn't think that she would be able to do a whole CLC stage by herself, and she did. And it was very well put together, and I was very surprised. Sure, there were back dancers, but like it was crazy. That was pretty cool.
Good. Yeah.
Cheetah went as well. I've historically never been a huge fan of Cheetah. I feel like if you have liked Cheetah, you'll like her stuff again. But I mean, it's kind of same stuff. Queen Wasabi. Now, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you will probably know that I have an interesting relationship with an uneducated kid. He's a lovely lad, lovely gentleman. Queen Wasabi kind of reminds me of an uneducated kid, except she's not as good at rapping as uneducated kid is.
Oh.
Now, that being said, uneducated kid is pretty bad at rapping.
Oh.
So, Queen Wasabi, if Anita were to start rapping, she would probably be better than Queen Wasabi.
Honestly, I feel like they brought her on for the entertainment value and to see what she would do.
Let's be honest, she's funny.
Yeah,
No.
I read some of the quotes
Variety.
of what she said. They were crazy takes.
Man,
My.
I think it's a real interesting thing to be able to watch a girl dressed like that twerk on TV on mainstream
Wow.
and have idols react to it. That was the crazy part. Like Yujong and Doyeon of Wekimeki was there. A bunch of Daya girls were there, and they were reacting to the things that were going on in real life, and they were like, I don't know how to react. The company's never taught me how to react to situations like these.
You want to
It
hear
was
something
wild.
else?
What's up?
There was more twerking in front of idols on TV this week.
What?
On Running Man, Jessie appeared, and there were idols there, and she
Jessie.
twerked in front of everyone there too.
Of course.
Like Hyojung was there, Jinhyuk was there, Bolpagan's An Ji-young was there. She started twerking at one point. Everyone was like, "Oh God!" So it's a thing now, I guess.
Great.
I guess twerking is a part of K-pop now. Another thing was there was a rapper called Sleek. She's very well known for her like feminist way of portraying things, and everything aside, it was kind of exhilarating to watch the rainbow flag on Korean TV.
She brought it out. I did not know that.
There were 2 rainbow flags in the background while she was rapping, and I was like,
Wow.
I can't
for
believe
her.
I'm watching this. Like, it's very wild. It's crazy. She is not the best at rapping. I will say that. She's not the best. But that's okay. I've listened to her previous stuff. I'm sure she'll do better in the next stages. So, even if you're not interested in hip hop, it's kind of a fun, entertaining show.
Yeah, I kind of
think.
want to watch the performances. Yeah.
Someone
go
needs
watch-
someone needs to sub this show. Please, someone should sub this.
Some CLC / Girls' Generation fan /
Yeah, that's
Card
what I'm
fan.
saying.
Please do it. Yeah.
Someone needs to sub this because I want to watch it. It's an Mnet show. Why? I mean, we're spoiled with subs anyway. But
It's low key kind of funny, so please do watch it. There's another thing I really want to quickly briefly mention. Y'all know Ichima, right?
Yes.
yes,
Keith Ape.
Keith Ape. Keith Ape is from a crew called the Cohort. Also known as the Orca Boys. Occasions in there.
Underwater
Be
Squad.
Free. J All Day. They, if you watch the Ichima video, they're there. Keith Ape, Occasion, J All Day. And formerly in that crew was a guy named Reddy from Highlight Records.
yep, I remember him.
And Reddy put out an album past couple days, and it's one of the saddest albums I've ever listened to. And
Oh no.
there's a song in that album called Beneath the Water. I guess I'm directly translating from Korean. But there's a song dedicated to the Cohort crew and Ichima, and how he wasn't. It was one of those situations where the kids in Cohort, like Kith Ape, came from a very wealthy background, and Reddy didn't, and he was kind of left out, and they all began together, but like they like the whole gist of the album is that he was working in this streetwear boutique while everyone else was rapping in the streets because he had to make money, and rapping didn't keep him fed. And there's and it goes into how Ichima kind of blew up without him, and all his buddies didn't feel like buddies anymore. It's just it's very sad. It's but it's a banger of an album. It's one of the better K-hop albums of the last year, I would say. And that's coming from a lot because I had zero expectations for Reddy.
No, I was gonna say because I had known him previously as the guy who's always on Show Me the Money as the flex guy, guy, because he always wears crazy expensive clothing on that
Supreme
show.
guy. Yeah.
Wow.
Turns out he was dirt poor.
Man.
Would have never known that
I
based
know.
on the way he presents himself on Show Me the Money.
So and the thing is, if you watch my K-hop tier list video from a while back, he's low. I didn't like him.
But now?
Dude, A tier, easily.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, that's high
Gross.
praise.
My top 3 favorite albums of the year.
Wow. Okay.
Impressive.
I know.
Do you got anything
like
else? Or
Reddy.
is that it, boy?
Are you ready for Reddy? Ha ha ha.
Is that all you got though? Warren, that's a.
I said yeah. No, I said,
I didn't hear you.
oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm done. I'm okay.
Well, this has been officially the longest episode of SojuTalk Kpop
Really?
Podcast. We are over
Really?
2 hours, I think.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
man. Let's cut something out in the middle.
Nah, it's fine. I mean, we got a lot to say. That's just the nature of the show. It's been fun, but this has been SojuTalk, your weekly shot at K-pop. I'm Doug. I'd like to thank Warren and Anita for joining me today. We'll release the boy group K-pop tier list survey next week, so start thinking about that. Where you want to place some groups. There's more groups on that one, so it's gonna require a lot of brain effort.
Oh my god.
But we'll see y'all next time when we drop that and we cover some cool songs. So we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Special shoutouts to our Fiesta patrons: Gogu Mama, Jack, Jacob, Malfiar, NJ Parks, Pure K-pop Sound, Snap Wilson, Tier, and Wolf297. Thank you for joining SojuTalk, your weekly shot of K-pop. And special thanks to our Discord server mods: Jacob, K Music Erday, Malfiar, No Bias Nuna, Tuggles, V, and Wolf297.